Shillings elect Basin Mall graft charges. Members of the Kisumu County Assembly have replaced Speaker Onyango Oloo as he battles graft charges in court. In an afternoon of high drama characterized by swinging of chairs and fist fights, Kisumu North MCA Elisha Oraro was sworn in as the acting speaker.
1 year after a motion to impeach Speaker Onyango Oloo flopped, Kisumu County Assembly was once again set to remove Oloo from office, though temporarily. Outside the assembly buildings, a group of youth supporting his replacement with an acting speaker in interim basis sang and danced with the largely ODM MCAs, saying it was party position to have Oloo out until his graft case is over.
Vile chama yetu imesema tutafuata hiyo kanuni na tutachagua mmoja wetu kulingana na sheria ya Kenya, kulingana na County Government Act na our standing orders.
At 2:30, members convened for the afternoon session, but soon after the preliminaries, all hell broke loose. At last, calm resumed, and the House, largely comprising of the 29 MCAs who were for the swearing in of an acting speaker, continued with the business of the day.
Allow election of the acting speaker of the Kisumu County Assembly.
It was set for the nomination of those seeking the position of acting speaker, but those in that race backed off, instead supporting the candidature of Kisumu North MCA Elisha Oraro.
I therefore withdraw my candidature.
As those of the opinion that Honorable Elisha Oraro be the acting speaker, say aye. Aye. As those of the contrary opinion, say nay. The ayes have it.
But the job was not yet done, and the MCAs headed straight to the speaker's offices across the road, where locked doors were waiting. And after successfully breaking in, the acting speaker had this to say.
What we have done is legal, procedural, and within the law. I have been elected as the acting speaker. As you're aware, our speaker has issues with the court.
County Assembly of Kisumu continues with its business Wednesday under the stewardship of Elisha Oraro. Kevin Ogutu, KTN News.
Now, let us link up with our reporter Kevin Ogutu for an update on that story. He's been following up keenly on the happenings at the Kisumu County Assembly. Now, Ogutu, good morning. Lots of drama yesterday. What do you expect today, as the County Assembly sits for its afternoon, business?
Well, a very good morning, Brenda. And as we put it in our report today, the acting speaker, who is North Kisumu MCA Elisha Oraro, was stewarding the business of the day at the Kisumu County Assembly. And I'm made to understand that the process was on and they've already adjourned. But most importantly, we are going to talk to one of the MCAs, who is Kolua East member of County Assembly, who is called Steve Owiti, to probably paint a picture for us and probably a roadmap on what is supposed to be expected, given that we still have a faction of the County Assembly that is dissatisfied with the events of yesterday. Remember, that particular petition was signed by 29 out of the 48 members of the County Assembly of Kisumu. And so I'm glad to have him here with me on KTN News Center. Welcome to KTN News Center, Honorable Steve Owiti. First things first, what maybe is what do you make of the events of yesterday? It was quite a chaotic afternoon, but at last you managed to have an acting speaker sworn in the on the floor of the assembly.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wutu. First, I want to thank the KTN for inviting me for this show. Well, it was very unfortunate that we were able to witness what happened in our assembly yesterday. It's not something that we as leaders would really say would want to see happening quite often. But sometimes I would really want to say that it's very unfortunate that when we don't obey the rule of law, sometimes we allow anarchy to prevail. And the situation we were seeing yesterday was as a result of us, a few individuals trying to do things outside the law. Members of the County Assembly of Kisumu are aware, and it's in public domain, that our Honorable Speaker, Onyango Oloo, is having a case in court. And when you look at the Anti-Corruption and Crimes Act, I think it's about section 62(1), says that when a public officer is charged in a court of law with corruption and economic crimes related issues, first they stand suspended. And even in the recent past, it has always been mentioned that public money is public money. It does not depend where it was taken from. In such circumstances, the only basic thing that one would be advised to do is to step aside. You are not really relinquishing his position as the Speaker, but definitely it's only stepping aside so that he can be able to clear with the court case, so that once it's cleared, he would be able to take up his position as the Speaker. I think Kisumu County Assembly is an ODM assembly. Why do I say so? Out of the 48 members, 44 members were sponsored or were nominated, who came in through the ODM party. And one of the principles of ODM is good governance, which is a fight against corruption. So ODM had also called a meeting, I'll call it a parliamentary meeting, and the members were properly advised to take the necessary action. The law provides, the Constitution of Kenya is the supreme law in this land, and the law provides very clearly that in an event that the Speaker is absent, the Assembly is required to elect one of their own to act as a Speaker until the Speaker comes back. Now, when you look at the law, the Article 178 I'm mentioning of 2 is also supported by County Governments Act. And all that said, when you look at it, County Governments Act also said what circumstances would make what we would consider the absence of the Speaker.
But Mheshimiwa, probably the residents of Kisumu who are watching right now will be asking themselves that, of course, these have been quoted before, though we are yet to get the response from the team that was against the election of an acting Speaker. But a resident of Kisumu will be asking themselves, what's going on the floor of the Assembly right now?
On the floor of the Assembly, we have a very important matter that we need to look at. That is the budget of the County Assembly, of the County Government of Kisumu. The budget is, if the budget is not passed, it means the County Treasury cannot spend even a single cent. And we are already almost getting to the end of the first quarter of this financial year, 2019-2020. So one of the most critical things that has to be looked into is the budget. This budget is a priority to us as an assembly, because without passing the budget, we'll never be able to even deliver on our mandate as an assembly or as the people's leader that were elected, of the people representatives. So today we've had our sessions in the morning. We've had the acting Speaker make a few pronouncements on the chair. And we hope that in the afternoon session, as we move forward, we'll be able to focus on some of our critical areas like the one that we've talked about, which is the budget now, so that we can allow the county to move forward and be able to start implementing on its mandate for the financial year 2019-2020.
I'm made to understand that a faction that is allied to Speaker Onyango Oloo, so to speak, maybe confirming this or not, is not satisfied with what transpired yesterday on the floor of the County Assembly of Kisumu. And I'm made to understand there are deliberate plans to storm the County Assembly tomorrow. What do you make of such confrontations?
It's true that yesterday there were two opposing views. The dissenting views were that already we had a deputy speaker in place, and the other members who had petitioned the clerk were arguing that there was no deputy speaker in the county government or in the constitution, that such a position does not exist, and so we would not allow a vacuum to exist. The other camp is saying there's no vacuum and there's no need to elect an acting speaker, because whoever was there who was chairing the last one ought to have taken up that office automatically. But having said that, I would want to tell you that the members have a right, and that's why we have an assembly. They have a right to advance their issues. I don't believe anybody would want to storm the assembly, because that is out of question. A member has a right to attend the session and articulate their issues on the floor of the House. we always have a reason to debate. If you are convinced otherwise that whatever has been done is not legal, then you are able to seek redress. Personally, I used to chair the budget committee of the Kisumu County, and the way I was banned out of the office, I did not agree with it. I went to court. I did not go and start storming the budget committee meetings and insist that I have to chair it. I went to court to seek legal redress, which is, the matter is still in court. So I wouldn't say much on that. But I think as a legal institution, the Assembly has the mandate, 3 mandates: oversight, representation, and legislation. And when you look at that, as legislators, people who make the law, we must obey the laws. So the idea of storming, that is a political statement. And we as politicians, we can also not run away from politics. If something is done which is contrary to the law, then I want to tell you, the law will take its course. But if they come to the Assembly and say, this is what we want or expect, we shall be able to reason and argue out things and say, we want to move forward. Because as a county, the county is bigger than any individual. Be it me as a member of the county assembly, be it the speaker or any other person. We must get above some of those things. But once in a while, we'll see it's parliamentary practice that people disagree. And it's not only unique to Kisumu case. I've seen many assemblies. We've seen the many national assemblies. We've even seen international assemblies where people, when they disagree, they're able to argue, except when it degenerates into violence, that we condemn in the strongest terms possible. Okay. But those kind of things, I don't believe we can really say they are rumors as you're putting it.
Okay, thank you very much. And that is Steve Owiti, who is the MCA Oloo East, and he used to chair the budget committee of the County Assembly of Kisumu. It's important to note that Kisumu County Assembly is not in isolation. We still have more or less the same situation at the County Assembly of Homa Bay, the same manner in which there was dissatisfaction between the members of the elected leaders and nominated leaders and the speaker, and up to now we still have the speaker out of office. So as it stands right now, we are made to understand that the business of the County Assembly of Kisumu is going on as the Mheshimiwa has put it, and of course we are waiting to see if there will be any further development, whether it will be the storming as the rumor has it, or whether probably Onyango Oloo, whom we are yet to speak to, will be heading to court to challenge the events that occurred yesterday on the floor of the County Assembly of Kisumu. Back to you in studio, Brenda.
Right, thank you so much, Kevin Ogutu. And it's good, we'd just like to know what Onyango Oloo will say following that, that drama that happened yesterday. And that's a reporter, Kevin Ogutu, just updating us about the happenings at the Kisumu County Assembly.